Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.
Welcome to Talking Head Pain, the podcast that confronts head pain head on. I'm here today with sshaw, who's a colleague at GHLF with me. And Sarah has been featured in 2 previous episodes of Talking Head Pain, so you've probably heard from her before. We're going to talk about some exciting news and changes to Talking Head Pain. Welcome, Sarah. How are you today?
Thank you, Joe. I'm really excited to be here. I'm migraine-free today, which I will celebrate every day being on here. So really excited to chat with the listeners about what we have in store.
So let's just get to it. We have been doing Talking Head Pain at GHLF for quite some time, produced 3 seasons, have spoken to dozens and dozens of patients and providers about migraine-related diseases. We took some time to think about how we can better serve our community. And one of the ideas that we came up with was making it bigger than me being the singular host. So we're really excited to announce that Sarah will be co-hosting Talking Head Pain moving forward. How do you feel about that, Sarah?
I'm super excited. It's funny. I think, I was always told in college that I had a voice for radio. So I think it's suiting that we expand and we go out and we get to connect to more and more patients in the migraine community. And I feel really honored to help pass the mic, theoretically, hypothetically, to more and more patients in the migraine community. So I'm really excited about this change.
Definitely. And I felt that it was important for you to be elevated and have your voice heard even more because you have so much to share, and your connection with patients and people that live with these chronic diseases has been so deep and profound that I'm really excited to hear what you are going to do and who you're going to speak with and the types of issues that you're going to draw out. So that will be super, super exciting and interesting for me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think in terms of the direction that I'm going to go in, I feel like Joe laid a really great blueprint for Talking Head Pain and all the guests that you've had and all the people that you've been highlighting and giving a voice to that didn't really have a voice, that didn't really have the spotlight put on them. And I want to continue that legacy that you've led and also put a little spin on it in terms of I'm very open about my migraine journey, but I'm also very open about my mental health as well. I'm very open about the fact that I'm a queer Black person living with migraine and anxiety. I'm very open talking about therapy and what I learned this week in therapy and what my therapist maybe helped me navigate. And I think that one of the things that I really want to dive into is we know that people living with migraine can have mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. And we as a society often shy away from talking about issues like that. So I want to bring that front and center because mental health issues can be a comorbidity of someone living with a chronic disease like migraine or cluster headache. And I want to talk to listeners and the guests that we have on about what they do for self-care, what they do to make themselves feel better. Living with a chronic disease like migraine and head pain, it can be a pretty daunting task. And I want us to feel free to have open conversations about it and share tips and tricks with the rest of the community about what you do to help navigate out of some pretty scary or dark times.
I so agree with that and really look forward to hearing how you're going to draw that out and the stories that you're going to share. I know that we'll continue to do healthcare provider outreach and be at medical conferences and talk to those folks as well. So it'll be a really interesting marriage between these very different but also similar disciplines and experiences. And I think that will be the beauty of this relationship and this new process and evolution of Talking Head Pain. As an organization, we have to continue to stay in front of the curve and make sure that we're serving patients in all the ways possible. So I think this will be a really important and cool way that we're doing that.
Yeah, and I think as long as we keep passing the mic to, often underserved communities that typically do not get heard, BIPOC, LGBTQ, which is, you've been doing such a great job at making sure that those voices are heard. I hope to take up the baton and continue to share those stories.
And if you want your story to be featured on Talking Head Pain, You can reach out to me or Sarah. My email is jcoe, C-O-E, at ghlf.org. And Sarah's is sshaw, that's SSHAW at ghlf.org. And you could reach out to us and we'll schedule a pre-interview and hopefully be able to share your story.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Hope you all continue to support us and listen to some really interesting stories.
So stay tuned to listen to Sarah really crush it talking with patients and highlighting stories that are so important to our community. And don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to pop in every now and then at medical conferences, talking to healthcare providers, researchers, and others about some of the new areas that we should explore in migraine. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Talking Head Pain, the podcast that confronts head pain head on. If you like this episode, please give it an honest 5-star rating and subscribe so you never miss another one. I'm Sarah Shaw, and I will see you next time.
Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.